As men and women enter their 30s, profound hormonal changes begin to take place in their bodies. If not addressed, these changes can lead to decreased energy and diminished zest for life, loss of muscle mass and tone paired with an increase in body fat, decreased libido, and for men, a steadily enlarging prostate. Hormones are the body's chemical messenger system. They tell the various cells of the body what to do and when. Problems occur when the various hormones get out of balance. Testosterone in particular becomes a problem as we age, beginning in our 30s. A growing body of evidence suggests that free testosterone levels drop as much as 40% in men between the ages of 25 and 75. This causes negative changes in body mass composition and a decrease not only in sexual desire and performance, but also in the competitive drive to succeed and accomplish something meaningful in life. In women, a reduction in testosterone levels leads to a similar decline in sexual desire and performance and similar reduction in life drive. In fact, testosterone levels for postmenopausal women are about half the normal level for a healthy, non-pregnant woman. The bottom line is that both men and women need and produce testosterone in their bodies, although in differing amounts. Testosterone in both men and women is responsible for pumping up energy levels, driving our desire to attack the day, firing the need to succeed, bonding us with our mates, fueling our sexual desires, elevating our levels of sexual satisfaction, building muscle, burning off fat, and facilitating better circulation. Testosterone is synthesized from cholesterol in your bloodstream and is the major circulating sex hormone in men. It's primarily produced in the testes, which secretes 6 to 7 milligrams a day. When you think about it, that's not much, about 1/10 the contents of the average supplement capsule. In women, the ovaries produce about half of the testosterone in the body. Not surprisingly, women need a much smaller amount of testosterone in their bodies than men. But regardless, testosterone plays an equally crucial role throughout the body in both men and women. It should be noted that in both men and women, testosterone produced in the adrenals tops off whatever is not produced in the testes and ovaries. So, how much testosterone do we need? In fact, very, very little. It's measured in billionths of a gram. In men, the normal amount is approximately 300 to 1,000 billionths of a gram per tenth of a liter of blood. In women, it's a mere 15 to 70 billionths of a gram. These are infinitesimally small amounts. Now, remembering that testosterone is metabolized from cholesterol, it should be noted that most of the testosterone produced in your body is itself metabolized into a number of other hormones. For example, testosterone can be metabolized to dihydrotestosterone, DHT, by the enzyme 5-alpha reductase, or to estradiol by an aromatase enzyme complex. In any case, the tiny amount of testosterone that shows up in your bloodstream when tested is what's left. This means that simply adding testosterone to your body to increase your numbers may not produce quite the results you and your doctor are looking for if your body converts most of that added testosterone to estrogen and DHT. Additionally, it should be noted that testosterone levels vary from day to day and even from hour to hour. They are constantly being regulated and fine-tuned by your body. When it comes to low testosterone, for most people, the problem lies not in actual low testosterone production, even though that decreases as we age, but rather in the amount that is available for use by the body. As much as 98% of the testosterone circulating in the blood is bound to protein. In men, approximately 40% of that binding is to high-affinity SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin. The remaining 60% is bound weakly to albumin. This is important because the testosterone bound to albumin can easily be converted by the body back to free testosterone as needed, whereas the testosterone bound to SHBG, not so much. Free testosterone is like cash in your pocket. Just pull it out and spend it. Albumin testosterone is like money in the bank that you can easily draw on from an ATM whenever you need more. And SHBG-bound testosterone is like money tied up in your house. It can only be accessed with great difficulty. It's there, but tough to get to. The combination of free and albumin-bound testosterone is what is known as bioavailable testosterone, and this is the testosterone that matters, especially as you age. But it's more complicated than that. A 2015 study published in the European Journal of Endocrinology found that the use of statin drugs lowers the levels of bioavailable testosterone. Now consider the fact that currently around 30% of adults are on statin drugs. That's a lot of low testosterone. And for women, Studies have shown that the use of birth control pills was associated with dramatically elevated SHBG levels, which means reduced bioavailable testosterone. And that's even after discontinuing use. Keep in mind that lower levels of free testosterone in women are believed to play a major role in weight gain and a higher risk of heart attack, as well as sexual problems, including decreased sexual desire, decreased arousal, decreased lubrication, and increased sexual pain. So obviously, we need to keep our testosterone levels optimized. How do we do that? Well, there's certainly the prescription approach, but using testosterone patches or injections is like using a sledgehammer to open a watch. It may get the job done, but you're not going to like the results. Why not? Well, remember, when talking about the amount of testosterone we need to produce huge changes in the body, we're talking about billionths of a gram. Supplemental testosterone just ain't that subtle. Then there's the fact that when you produce your own testosterone, your body is constantly regulating levels hour by hour. With supplemental testosterone, again, not that subtle. Then there's the fact that if your underlying problem is too much 5-alpha reductase or aromatase in the bloodstream, then taking supplemental testosterone is going to push levels of DHT and estrogen through the roof. Not good. And finally, if your underlying problem is too much SHBG tightly binding up excessive amounts of testosterone, you're going to have to raise your total T levels to unsafe levels in order to get your bioavailable testosterone levels up to where you need them. Again, not good. Fortunately, unless you're saddled with a physiological problem like a tumor on your pituitary gland or non-functioning testes or ovaries, the use of herbs such as saw palmetto, wild oats, nettles, and Tribulus terrestris can support your body's own ability to increase testosterone production as needed, reduce 5-alpha reductase and aromatase to their proper levels so you keep more of the testosterone you produce, and lower high SHBG levels back to normal so that your bioavailable testosterone can naturally rise to healthy levels. The net result is that a well-designed herbal formula can increase bioavailable testosterone levels an astounding 105% on average, as well as repair and rebuild adrenal function. And remember, that's important because the adrenals produce testosterone too. And for men, although we're not talking about a dedicated prostate formula, the herbs in this formula can slow down the growth of prostate tissue. So far, so good. But we also need our formula to provide two other benefits. Let's be clear. More energy, improved muscle-to-fat ratios, and better health are the primary reasons for optimizing the sex hormones in our bodies. But those benefits are not sex itself. Sex is the great motivator, and a testosterone balancing formula needs to work naturally in both men and women to enhance sexual desire, sensation, and performance, all issues related to having sufficient levels of bioavailable testosterone. In any case, we're going to want our formula to address that. And in a related problem, by the time we are 30, most of us have seriously depleted our body's ability to respond to stress. Stress is normal, to be sure, but the continual stress of modern living, from high-pressure jobs, fighting traffic, worrying about world events, etc., keeps us in a state of constant heightened response that eventually wipes out our adrenal reserves. The standard response is to increase consumption of artificial stimulants such as caffeine or nicotine or alcohol, and even overeating. These solutions are in fact no solution at all. Although they may temporarily mask the symptoms of adrenal exhaustion by providing an artificial boost, they serve to further exhaust the adrenals, leading to irrevocable harm to the body. And remember, the adrenals play a key role in testosterone production. If your adrenals are exhausted, they can't do their job. Our testosterone formula, then, also needs to address the adrenals. So, what does such a formula look like? Well, let's first talk about the herbs that are shared in common by both a men's and women's testosterone balancing formula. First, there's saw palmetto berry, which functions as a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor to reduce the conversion of testosterone into dihydrotestosterone. This helps maintain higher testosterone levels without introducing more testosterone into the system, and it also helps minimize hair loss in both men and women and prostate enlargement in men by over 43%. Then, the lignans found in stinging nettle appear to inhibit the ability of SHBG to bind testosterone by up to 67%, thus maintaining higher levels of bioavailable testosterone. Tribulus terrestris seeds counteract the effects of the hormone angiotensin II, thus moderating the release of adrenaline, sparing your adrenal glands from exhaustion, and Tribulus is also helpful in maintaining sexual vitality. Muira puama, also known as potency wood, comes from the rainforests of Brazil. The plant sterols in Muira contribute to the increased synthesis of testosterone. Studies have also confirmed that Muira is equally effective in both men and women when it comes to maintaining libido and possibly helping prevent baldness. Then there's Damiana. Studies have shown that, like Tribulus, Damiana optimizes the nitric oxide pathway, which can help both men and women sexually. But more importantly, it works as an aromatase inhibitor, helping to slow down the conversion of testosterone to estrogen. The chemical and molecular structure of the venocosides found in wild oat seeds closely resembles that of sex hormones. This allows those phytochemicals to bind to SHBG, thereby reducing the amount of SHBG available to bind to actual sex hormones. And finally, there's kola nuts. Kola nuts contain caffeine, choline, and theobromine. All three chemicals are stimulants, but the amount contributed by the kola nut seed in these formulas is very low, just enough to improve mental energy and revitalize libido in both men and women without stressing the adrenals. Now let's talk about the herbs that are specific to a men's testosterone balancing formula. And we'll start with American ginseng, one of the most widely used adaptogenic herbs. Its use in this formula is because the ginsenoside, RG1, has been shown to increase serum testosterone levels. It also helps optimize the pituitary adrenal axis. In addition to everything else, ginseng has been shown to work like saw palmetto and inhibit the 5-alpha reductase enzyme, thus helping to prevent prostate enlargement. Catuaba bark is traditionally used as an aphrodisiac and central nervous system stimulant among indigenous tribes. And finally, there's turmeric, which has long been used as a powerful anti-inflammatory in both the Chinese and Indian systems of medicine. In this formula, its primary purpose is as a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor to protect against prostate enlargement. It's also protective against prostate cancer. At this point, I probably need to mention Pygeum Africanum, which is also a powerful 5-alpha reductase inhibitor. Unfortunately, it has become so popular that it has been put on the endangered species list, and there are no environmentally safe farm sources available. It's a great herb, but I won't use it in formulas until sustainable sources of Pygeum are once again available. And finally, we need to talk about the herbs that are specific to a woman's testosterone balancing formula. It should be noted that in addition to all of the other benefits we're going to talk about concerning women's herbs in this formula, a number of them have also been proven to help alleviate the symptoms of PMS and menopause and to inhibit the incidence of breast cancer. With that in mind, let's start with wild yam. As a weak phytoestrogen, wild yam extract protects against the proliferation of human breast carcinoma MCF7 cells. But the primary reason for including wild yam root in the women's formula is for its ability to activate the nitric oxide system, which improves blood flow in the genitalia. Then there's Eleutherococcus, sometimes referred to as Siberian ginseng, even though it's only distantly related to true ginseng. And although it possesses entirely different, unrelated chemical constituents compared to ginseng, it nevertheless also functions as an adaptogen, and it also helps optimize the pituitary adrenal axis. As for licorice root, studies have shown that supplementation with licorice and/or one of its key components, glycyrrhetinic acid, increases both DHEA and testosterone levels. Then there's sarsaparilla. One of the key saponins found in sarsaparilla is diosgenin, the same saponin found in wild yam. Not surprisingly then, sarsaparilla has also been found to be useful in managing both menstrual and menopausal symptoms and reducing the risk of osteoporosis. In addition, sarsaparilla is both supportive and restorative to the adrenals, which is a primary reason for its inclusion in this formula. Ginger root is an adaptogen for the adrenals, helping to modulate cortisol levels, normalize blood pressure and heart rate, burn fat, and increase energy and metabolic rate. But another benefit for women, as demonstrated in a 2015 study, is that ginger helps moderate heavy menstrual bleeding. Mucuna pruriens is the world's most concentrated natural source of a compound called L-dopa. L-dopa is a direct precursor to the neurotransmitter dopamine, and dopamine works as one of the best natural human growth hormone releasers by stimulating the pituitary gland to increase its production of HGH. High levels throughout life of the body's own natural growth hormone, not hormones from synthetic injections, is known as a major key for human longevity. Dopamine also increases the production of other hormones such as testosterone. In that regard, it should be noted that any increase in testosterone triggered by Mucuna pruriens never throws the endocrine system out of balance. Mucuna merely improves levels which tend to decrease over time in the average person. Not surprisingly, most of the studies on Mucuna's ability to raise testosterone were done on males, but the effect is just as notable in females. And finally, Mucuna pruriens also functions as an aphrodisiac, one that is very potent and increasing libido. So let's wrap things up. As we've discussed, problems occur when testosterone and the adrenal hormones go awry, which begins happening as both men and women enter their early 30s. Correcting these imbalances using the right combination of natural herbs and men's and women's testosterone balancing formulas can result in increased energy and zest for life, augmented muscle mass and tone with a concomitant decrease in body fat, improved circulation, increased libido and sexual performance, and for men, although we're not talking about a dedicated prostate formula, a slowing down of prostate tissue growth. What's not to love?